the matchup between
Not really.
Steve
We're getting
Jaros
closer
and
to
Tommy
6.
Jones.
Great to see him in attendance again. A little bit of a high shot. Oh, and a tough break. The 4 to 10.
First frame, get it over with.
Yeah, he just wants to get it over with. First TV appearance for him in over a year.
There's that little bit of grab at the bottom of the swing that Steve Jaros was talking about in his interview. See him playing a similar line to that of Wes Malott.
So he'll take his medicine in the open frame, unfortunately for Steve Jaros from Yorkville, Illinois, near Chicago. His last win was his last show, March 7th of 04, Indianapolis. Got by Michael Haugen and Dave D'Entremont on TV. Hot bowler, to say the least, Tommy Jones. 3 titles this year, a tour best. He's made yet another show this week. Big hook to it. Playing way inside.
Remember we talked about the oil pattern earlier in the show, and you can see that Liz Johnson, Wes Malott, even Steve Jaros playing those strips. Tommy Jones already deep inside. Remember, it was a big move that you had to make this week.
Takes care of his mark. He's tied for second with 4 TV shows, looking for a 4th win. 4 appearances, leading us to the Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup, Randy.
And again, real tight matchup here. Average, equal strike percentage. And if it comes down to spares, advantage Steve Jaros. But remember, Tommy Jones loves match play. Ranked 1st overall on tour.
Perfect path to the pocket. Chris Barnes, Walter A. Williams Jr. have 5 shows each, 4 for Tommy Jones among 4 with 4 shows.
Watch how hard the 6 goes to the wall and just tomahawks the 10 out. That's a high revolution and that axis rotation that gets the ball to turn and go into the pocket at that angle. Not a lot going to stand up in the way of that.
Back to Steve Jaros. Blitzes the rack. All 10 down. For the Chicago area native. 12-3. Match play record just rolled by Patrick Allen, player we mentioned with the 4 shows, the 2 wins. Leading candidate in many people's eyes for player of the year. Really solid appearance by struggling Lonnie Wallachek this week. Steve has averaged 228, 1-7 in his wins. No help on the 10. Boy, he wanted that across the deck.
Well, the pin got in the way of the messenger.
That was a lot better shot anyway.
That was a lot better shot. Here comes the messenger, and then something kind of gets in the way, but a much better shot on that lane. 2 different balls, one that's a little more rolly on the right lane, and something that's a little bit cleaner, a little bit longer down the lane on the left.
Are you surprised it's taken Steve so long to make a show? Only player on tour to win 3 titles last year and a major candidate for player of the year.
Without question. And I think the other 64 players out here week in and week out are as surprised. You don't win 3 tournaments in 1 year and then forget how to bowl the next year.
45th as we've illustrated. PBA Tour rankings. So he's on the outside looking in right now. Jones isn't. Nice help. Taps down number 4. 12-7 match play record. Much more difficult road than that of Steve Jaros. Down 0-3 to Rick Steelsmith, and he has done that several times. 4 times this year, down 0-3 and rallied to win.
Yeah, and I think this is why Tommy Jones is coming of age. He's made a telecast on what he called a pattern that he shouldn't bowl well on, but he's figured it out.
In that round of 8 match with Mika, started with front 4. Mika struggled with early open, and Tommy took advantage.
Jones doubled.
Big deficit thanks to that.
Well, actually make that 3 in a row.
Steve Jaros.
Hello, Chip 4. It's a Chip 4 fest.
Great look, Randy, from our crew and how different these two are approaching the pocket.
Yeah, and you know, Steve Jaros can hook it. He can get soft and go around it, but he's much more comfortable going straighter. You see where he is in the world point rankings. He needs to take care of business now. Win and don't worry about the points.
He told us, Randy, last night he was planning on just getting ready for the World Championships, where the points are so much higher. Of course, he's not at the top four to the Super 16, which is already set now. There's a 10-pin for Steve. He was a little shocked he did this well, based on the way the disappointing season had gone for him. Big point that he made to us last night. Hey, I thought with the new format, 7 game blocks in the round of 64, that would really be tailor-made to his game, but it hasn't worked out that way.
Yeah, it really has. And again, the only reason why Steve has struggled this year is he's had a bad ball reaction and hasn't been able to figure out how to get a good one.
Well, as you mentioned in the interview, his family watches closely. They were regulars on our TV shows last year. 3 times hoisted the winner's trophy. Steve spent a lot of time that off week with friends who hadn't seen him bowl in a while. Watched him on video.
See how Tommy Jones puts his thumb in first. He kind of corkscrews it into the thumb hole, puts his fingers in last. Not a whole lot of pressure on those fingers at release.
Who avoids a very difficult split. Mike and Sue Eaton, special thanks to them, co-proprietors here at Spectrum Lanes in Western Michigan. Once again, great to see those folks. Perfect husbands.
What a phenomenal job the Eatons do here year in and year out, and the way they take care of the players is phenomenal. And thank you very much to the Eatons for their hospitality this week.
Tommy Jones comes to us from near Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina. Malden is his official hometown. His wife Kristen did some house shopping in the off week. They're down to 3 choices to build. Little hook there for his spare. Doesn't go out straight with a plastic ball. As we see the Player of the Year race. Tommy Jones told us last night he still thinks Patrick Allen is the front runner.
And with a win, Tommy Jones can get to within about $7,500 to $8,000 in terms of overall money to PA. PA leading that. PA leading just about everything except titles. And when you vote, when the membership votes for Player of the Year honors, they look at wins quite heavily.
Sticks with the same ball. What a ball reaction for Tommy Jones, 6-0 on TV. This season, 3 wins, 10-1 over his last 2 years on TV. He's been incredible. A League of Ordinary Gentlemen, a documentary chronicling the birth of the new PBA, is headed to theaters. The film follows Wayne Webb, Chris Barnes, Pete Weber, and Walter Ray Williams Jr. through the entire 2002-2003 season. The behind-the-scenes look gives fans access to the highs and lows of these PBA pros, from the season opener in Wichita to the season-ending World Championship. The movie won the Audience Choice Award at the 2000 South by Southwest Film Festival and is scheduled for release in May. After 6 frames, working on a strike, Tommy Jones, a 30-pin lead on Steve Jaros. Liz Johnson awaits the winner of this semifinal. Speaking of Tommy, his power has never been questioned, but he learned that versatility is really the key to winning. And he breaks down his success this season in this week's Dexter Approach.
Tommy Jones has become a complete player because of versatility. He's learned how to change his role. Picture on the left is him trying to go much straighter and more end-over-end roll. Now, this is the one on the right is him hooking it. Look at the bend in the elbow versus less bend here. Now, at release, watch how much flatter his hand's going to be right here versus the rotation right here. What this does, it enables him to create different ball reactions on every lane condition he bowls on.
Tommy Jones, Randy, has been red hot. We talked about the incredible 6-0 on TV, 10 of 11 matches he's won over his last couple of years. He's in a zone. You know what that's like.
I tell you, what a great feeling. You get in that zone, and everything is done on a subconscious level. You look to see where you're putting your feet, you put your hand in it, you look at your target, and then you just go.
Jaros works on spare here. Looks for help across the deck, can't get it on number 10. This is 6.
I already know how to pick that one up.
Frame.
And this is basically the way his entire year has gone. in a nutshell, 2 messengers back-to-back on the right lane.
Worked out in the off week at Fox Bowl in Wheaton, Illinois. Close friends there where he runs the pro shot. Really felt good about his layout, about his look heading into Grand Rapids, but as he mentioned to us, we're so surprised to get this far. He's got 19 straight events without a win. He wants to be exempt, like the bowlers you see now, bottom of your screen. Those who have won majors are all the way through. The list has grown by several this week because of points, which you will see coming in the bottom of your screen. Nice shot from Jaros.
I don't know if I lock. I missed my good one.
11 spots still open heading in to our final events of this season. All battling for exempt status. This guy is already in with his 3 wins. The hottest bowler in my mind on tour. When he has a look like this, Randy, the guy is money. 7 frame. There we go. Blitz is 10 more down for a double. 41 pin lead.
Yeah, Tommy's in his wheelhouse. He's in his comfort zone. And if he holds on to win, he's going to bowl Liz Johnson, who is bowling in her comfort zone, the outside line. You're going to have 2 players attacking this chameleon oil pattern 2 completely different ways.
So, Randy, you know about being in that zone, 86, 87, 11-1 in that span, 3 titles. Back-to-back titles in 87. You've been there. Must feel good.
It is, and it's a hard place to get and a hard place to stay in.
Let me tell you something. Come on! Tommy Jones is in that spot.
Yeah, the only thing I can say is enjoy it while you're in the moment, because it's not always there. And right now, Tommy Jones, he's in the zone.
That's for a turkey in his 8th frame.
So what are you hoping at the end of this? What are you hoping you're gonna feel?
Jarros in a huge hole. 51 pin deficit. Look out. Didn't like it right through the nose, way high. Special. I want to thank you to John Plasso, Banquet Senior Marketing Manager. Appreciate his help and support. Title sponsor of our event here in Grand Rapids. 6-10 down for Jaros, but he needs strikes for that huge deficit, and he knows it. How do you think his nerves are, Randy? It's been so long since he's been on TV. A guy who was so dominant last year.
Well, he's probably tight, and not so much because he hasn't been on television in a while, but I think more because he's not real sure about the change he's made yet, even though he, it took him all the way to the telecast. He still needs a little bit more time to work on it. But a great stepping stone to going into next week's major World Championship. And he'll need another big week.
Oh, man.
You can see what he did last year, or last season rather, when he made 166,000 and change. And this year only 54,000. But again, I want to reiterate that you don't win 3 times and then forget how to bowl. Different oil, the patterns have changed somewhat, and Steve just hasn't figured out a way to get around it.
Jones for the 4-bagger, help on number 9, 61 pin lead. It's all but over. In fact, it is now officially over. He will take on Liz Johnson. We'll fast track to the end here. To finish up the point 2 on Steve Jaros, we talked to him about tour trials. It's looking like he may, unless he excels at the World Championship somehow. Looks like he may have to go that route. He's going to be close on points. He's 45th as we speak right now. He said he would do it. Maryville, Indiana is when it takes place. Yet another strike for TJ. That's the first week of June in suburban Chicago. Same site as last year. 9 games a day for 5 days. Different PBA oil pattern every day for potentially Steve Jaros at the tour trials. We're going to see you back there again this year?
I'm not sure. I went last year. It was no fun. I got to tell you, it's for the guys that made it through, kudos to them, because it's a grueling 5 days. But I'll tell you what, it's a lot of work and not a lot of fun unless you're one of those players that earns an exemption.
Unbelievable zone for for Jones continues. Jones zone.
Jones zone.
Against the Lizinator.
And Steve just tried a full rack. That wasn't a full rack. I think he was missing the 7-pin. Just give him a strike anyway, guy.
That's ESPN Classic right there.
What's that? Over Dave DeAntremont. 257-195. That was last March 7th for Jaros. It's been this long since he's been on TV. With his family in attendance. Gonna come
Great game by Tommy Jones.
Sizzling red hot. One more.
Looking subscribe.
From Malden.